This is Mike, this is Tiff, and today we're going to be talking about their iPhones. So let's start with this. What kind of iPhones do you both own now?
Well, I have the iPhone 6S.
Oh my god. No, dude. You can't. Like, you can't.
See, I'm not good with Alright, start with her.
So let's start with this. What kind of iPhones do you both own now?
The iPhone 6S.
iPhone 6S.
Have you owned iPhones all this time? I know, Mike, you've owned others, but like for you, Tiff, have you owned anything else other than an iPhone?
I did. I used to have the Android phones.
Do you even remember which one or no?
No.
How long ago was
It
that?
was like 6 years ago. Before.
2 years ago, I had the Moto X.
And the
And
2014,
before that, I had the Sony
the Z3, right?
Z3 that you throw underwater.
Okay, so but for the most part, both of you have owned iPhones for the majority of
Yeah,
your like
almost
phone
all.
ownership.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a light, average, or heavy user?
I
I
mean,
would say heavy, but only with texting.
I think it just depends on where I'm at. If I'm at work, light. But if I'm at home, I'm always on it.
What are the top 3 things you use your phone for?
Text messaging. Taking pictures and Google Maps.
And those are your top 3.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I get lost everywhere.
Yeah, I'd say pictures, great camera, texting.
Picture, camera. So the camera. Okay,
I use
sorry.
it for the camera, yeah. Text messaging and just searching the web.
Tiff, because you consider yourself a heavy user, when you use your phone throughout the day, like let's say you first uncharge it or unplug it in the morning, can you go a whole day without having to charge it?
Yeah.
So
Well,
at the,
as long as I'm connected to Wi-Fi.
as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi. So at the end of the day, like about how much percentage do you think is on your battery?
Well, I start at 9 a.m. and then I don't get off till 9 p.m. Around 9 p.m. I'm probably at like 40-50% still.
That's a lot of battery
Yeah.
still.
But before I was hooked onto the Wi-Fi at work, I would have to charge it at like 7 p.m.
Okay, so Wi-Fi makes a big difference then. Yeah. And what about you, Mike?
Same thing. Maybe not as much because I feel like I do use it for the internet more. And then when I'm at work, I don't have Wi-Fi. By the time I get home, it's probably good 30%.
I have to ask you, and I'm sure people are going to wonder, why did you start with an iPhone, go to Android, and then switch back to an iPhone again?
The reason why I switched, I just liked the way it looked,
Like the-
Moto X. I know we talked about it. You helped me decide. But I'm always up for like different options.
You had a Moto X and you liked it until it broke, but why switch back then to
So-
the 6S?
When I had it, I thought it was going to be, I mean, it was easy to use. There's a lot of features on it, but for me, I'm not really that, savvy when it comes to technology. With the iPhone, it's just kind of like a plug and play type feel, for me at least.
Ease of use probably was better on the iPhone then, or it's easier to use. Were there things on the Moto X though that you didn't like that your iPhone is doing better for you now?
Definitely the camera, for sure. And then just the speed between the apps and all that. And on the Moto X, the apps would freeze up sometimes. It would shut down on me, reboot itself. I never had that problem with the iPhone.
An iPhone 6S Plus wasn't even on your radar?
No, that's too big. I mean, I tried it out with a couple other people that I know who have them. It's just, I can't see myself carrying that thing around.
That makes sense. I gotcha. Do you know what made you switch over, or was it just because the iPhone was the phone that
Trendy.
everyone was
Yeah.
using.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering, and I kind of wanted to
Yeah.
clarify.
Just wanted to see what the hype was about.
But since then,
And then
you've
I like
had
stuck
it.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah. What, if anything, would make you switch over? Like, is there anything that would make you switch over, or are you pretty content with what the iPhone has, and you wouldn't even consider anything else?
I'm content with what the iPhone has because I tried his phone, the Moto X,
Uh-huh.
and like the other one that he had.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't even navigate. I didn't know what I was doing on it.
Was
I
it
feel like-
confusing?
yeah, it would just take me forever
To relearn.
to learn how to use that instead.
Okay, fair enough. So if you have the 16 gig iPhone 6S, right?
Yeah.
The $650 price tag, do you think it's worth it? Or are you not even really sure about other prices on phones?
I don't really know any other prices on phones,
So you
I
kinda
wouldn't
just-
even know.
Out of the following list, what are the top 3 things you look for in a phone?
I'd say camera, design, and I'd say sound.
Mine is performance and speed, and then battery and camera.
Okay, sounds good. All right, guys, thank you so much.
How come you switched from iPhone?
I switched from an iPhone to a Galaxy Nexus because, well, for one, I wanted to try something new. I've always used an iPhone for the longest time. Like I owned the classic iPhone. And then I think it was in 2012, was it Asus? I can't remember, but the Nexus 7 came out, the tablet came out, and it was really cheap. So I never had a tablet before, so I wanted to see what it was about. And then that's where I kind of heard about the Nexus and how they made like a stock version of Android. And so I tried the Galaxy Nexus out. I still own my iPhone. I didn't get rid of it. And the more I used the Nexus, I liked the experience more. I was able to do things on the Nexus that I couldn't do on the iPhone. I still think back then the iPhone was probably the better phone at the time, but since then I think it's kind of shifted the other way. But it depends on the person. And thank you for blindsiding me with a question. I didn't expect that at all. That's actually really good. All right, thank you guys.
That's a good one. But it can't be like a question because it's you have to like put a question within there and make it all put a question in the question.
Wait, what are we doing right now?